who was actually very upset at being beaten by Chris Boardman when he lost 15 seconds in the prologue time trial. He had ambitions to lead this tour from day one to the finish. Nobody's done that since the war years. And Indurain goes now, and what to him will hopefully re-establish him as the best rider in the business. We'll see. Miguel Indurain quickly into his rhythm, his hands on the handlebars, changing the gear shifts and moving smoothly up the gears. It's the first 20 kilometres of this course, which is very technical indeed.
Well, Indurain is straight away, he's got into his position, he's flying along at the moment, and it's going to be exciting waiting for the first time check to come through after 6 kilometres to see where he is in relation to Chris Boardman, because he started the day with a 39-second advantage over Boardman in the overall standings.
So, with a number of the top riders still to come...
There, if you didn't catch it, well, it is Manana now, and this is his opportunity to remind everyone on this race who's been the boss of the Tour de France these past 3 years.
Miguel Indurain, he's such a beautiful rider when he sits in the saddle, and there's the car behind shouting him on all of the time. Over the little hill, some very fast descents, very tricky corners. It's not just a matter of sitting on your bike and pedaling as quick as you can. You need a lot of skill to squeeze out the top speed around some very difficult bends. Now, let's have a look at 6.5 kilometres. Indurain has been through 9 minutes, 7 seconds. That's a tremendous performance, isn't it? 17 seconds better than De Las Cuevas. And the man that beat him in Lille has already conceded 32 seconds. And he didn't even reach the distance that we did in Lille, Paul.
Exactly, that's the difference with riding a time trial after 1 week of the Tour de France. In fact, to be exact, 9 days, because you have the repetitive fatigue that comes in, the hard, long stages we've had so far. And that is why Miguel Indurain has recovered so well in the time trial so far, but that is an incredible turnaround of the books. 32 seconds ahead of Chris Boardman in 6.5 kilometres. That really is.
Tomorrow, that was the request of his father, who was terminally ill, and he said, if I die during the Tour de France, you do not give up the race for me. And so he's fitting in the best of both as he can. This is now the situation as we move to the 15.1, trying to find his rhythm and settle down here. As we now arrive at Vert, this is the 29.8 kilometre check. Ugrumov still the best time, and he's gone through. Boardman slipping behind him. And we're seeing Indurain, and in fact his time has just come through to us, and we're now going to tell it to you. 20 minutes, 23 seconds. He's gone through almost a minute quicker, and we're only a quarter of a way through the race today. Now, he's on schedule to beat Rominger by 4 minutes. That is unbelievable. Rominger said before the start he would be content to concede only a minute to Indurain. Well, he's done that already in 15 kilometres.
Well, Miguel Indurain has looked very strong since the start of this Tour de France, and it's going to be very strange for Lance Armstrong, the current world champion, and he's about to get caught by Indurain. You can see Indurain will just fly by him, and then what Armstrong has to do is try and stay within 40 or 50 metres. He's not allowed to get into Indurain's slipstream, and then it might help Armstrong to pace himself and try and stay in contact, which would increase his chances of doing a good ride. But look how fast Indurain has gone by.
Miguel Indurain with a flotilla of people following him, a familiar scene indeed, and what is going to be a familiar result. This brilliant master of the race against the watch. So all of his riding at the head of the bunch these last 8 days, it wasn't to psych out the riders. He really was feeling good. Look at the clock. The time in the house is Rominger. This is going to knock him off the leaderboard by a big way. Not perhaps as much as we feared after 6 kilometres today. Rominger got better, but Indurain held his own all the way on a viciously hot day. He just takes one more opportunity to settle in and choose his gears. He comes up to the line. 1 hour 15:58, 2 minutes precisely. Better than Tony Rominger, and not as bad as Rominger will have thought.